Jimmy, so do you think Sandbox or Mana Decentraland, which one is better? Well, let me give you my take. I actually invest into both just to be less headache, because both of them is good. So sometimes we don't know what the future is going to be, and they are both the market leader. So I buy both of them. You can buy either one. It doesn't really matter. That's in my personal opinion. But let me break it down into you for the technical details so you can understand more. First of all, guys, if you guys ever think about the Metaverse, right? Because you guys heard on the news, the Metaverse, what exactly it is. What kind of company is the market leader in the Metaverse? Well, the Metaverse is the future. The Metaverse is here to stay. The Metaverse is made up of company, of GameFi, of DeFi, and many different elements of the whole entire universe of the Metaverse. But somehow in people's mind, when they think of the Metaverse, they going to think about this top 3 company. I don't know why, okay? It's Mana, Decentraland. They're going to think about Sandbox. They're going to think about Exit Affinity, because those are the company that position themselves in the name Metaverse, okay? Besides Facebook that they just named themselves Meta. Now, these 3 companies, they already enter into the Metaverse way before Facebook already, right? Because Mana, Decentraland, and they named themselves Metaverse. So let me give you my take of these 2 companies a little bit. I'm not gonna go into detail. I will have a video talk to you about the comparison between Decentraland and Sandbox. So let me give you why do I invest into like Decentraland, why do I invest into Sandbox. But in my personal opinion, I found out about Decentraland early more than Sandbox, and I invest heavy into Decentraland more than Sandbox. That's just my take, okay? But it doesn't mean Sandbox is bad. But now let me analyze for you. If you look into the coin market cap right now for Decentraland, Mana. Decentraland right now, the market cap is $4 billion. Sandbox is only 3.29 billion. So if you look in the overall perspective, Decentraland is bigger than Sandbox, okay? However, I think Sandbox somehow they have more publicity. Sandbox, they have more press coverage, and companies tend to go into Sandbox a little bit more than Decentraland, okay? That's just my take, okay? So Sandbox have more awareness, Decentraland have bigger market cap. Now, the price of Decentraland right now is only $2.19. But Sandbox is $2.85. So obviously Decentraland right now the price is cheaper, okay? But the market cap is bigger. So in people's opinion, they think it's better to get in cheaper, which is Decentraland more than Sandbox. Right now, if you look at the volume of the transaction volume, the trading volume, Sandbox is more popular than Decentraland. Sandbox have 317 million volume, right now per day. Decentraland only have 219 million. If you look at the market supply of Decentraland and Sandbox, Decentraland only have 1.84 billion of coins circulating, okay? And they have total supply of let's say 2 billion, okay? 2.19, 2 billion supply. So recap this. Decentraland have the maximum supply of 2 billion and the circulating supply of 1.8 billion. But Sandbox, if you look at them right now, they have the circulating supply is 1.16. So it's less than the supply around, is less than Mana, which means it's a little bit more, potential, for example. But the max supply of Sandbox is more than Decentraland. It's like 3 billion. So that means that Decentraland have less supply. That means it's better. Because when the coin they have, less supply in the in a company like Mana and Sandbox, the less supply is the better, because they position themselves to be valuable over a long term. So Mana and Sandbox, they burn their supply rate. So in my opinion right now, if you look at the supply, probably Decentraland, they win on that part, okay? Now, let's look overall of how many X, because this is the thing that I pay attention to. Sandbox, they already 340X. Decentraland is only 276X. So if you look in general, based on the supply and everything, I think, in my personal opinion, I think that Decentraland, they probably have less supply right now, but they less X. That means they less multiply than Sandbox. That means they have more potential because they haven't like 300X yet. So I think in the future that Mana Decentraland can 300X or even more. So I think if I look at a perspective of an investor, okay, based on the general, I would invest into Mana more than Sandbox. However, if Sandbox, they have more marketing activity, they have more, publicity and more strategic marketing better than Mana in the next 1 year, I may consider, put more into Sandbox than Decentraland. So it's all depends. But right now, based on what I see, the opportunity in Decentraland is more than Sandbox. So that is the reason why I invest heavy more into Decentraland than Sandbox. I hope if that makes sense. If back then, if somebody start analyze, they probably invest more into Sandbox. If I know Sandbox a little bit more than Decentraland, I probably invest into both just to give myself peace of mind because they both are market leader. So it's kind of like, are you gonna invest into Apple or Samsung? Let's invest in both because both of them is good, okay? So all right guys, so that's just my take of Decentraland and Sandbox. Hopefully it's helpful. And guys, if you can comment below which one you like more, Sandbox or Decentraland, or you like both, or you invest into both. All right guys, good luck and invest like a genius.